we'll do is we'll go live right now and we'll continue this conversation because it's fascinating. I love it. And for those people that weren't listening, they will have no idea what they missed, but we'll try to give them a recap. And in that case, maybe they will know what they missed. I don't know, but it's fun to be in the room. I have to tell you, and it's good to see you all. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our 157th meeting. Right now, we're calling the show our current event show, and you are welcome. Just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion, and we'll be talking about whatever anybody on the panel wants to talk about and some of the news stories that I have. Before you arrived, just to recap, we were talking about Taylor Swift, and now we're talking about the Sphere. And Fred, take it away. Sorry to interrupt you. Uh-oh.
Sorry.
Did I lose you?
No,
there you are.
No, I was just saying we were having a very lively discussion about the Sphere in Robert Scoville's back lounge a couple of weeks ago. I missed last week, so I don't know what they talked about last week, but supposedly the speaker systems in there are not conducive to being time aligned with people playing on the stage, playing live. So they're going to have an issue there when people go to expect to hear good sound, and they're not going to be able to because of the way the place is designed and built, actually. And then the other issue that's supposedly about this place is that it's not sustainable. Even U2 is supposed to be like the first band in there, right? They're going to play. YouTube
has got a residency there.
Okay, well,
and it's going to go through. It's going to, let me just say, it's going to go through the F1 race, which is I just don't know how Las Vegas is going to handle all that's going on right now, especially as they close down the Strip and the roads to the Strip. How are people going to get to the Sphere to see you? You know, did Elon Musk create a helicopter drone service to drop people off? How is that working?
Well, supposedly the Boring Company's been working in Vegas, so there is more than just the tunnel between the convention center and whatever it was open for NAB a couple of years ago. There's supposedly a new route. But anyway, get back.
I think that if they wanted to go to the Sphere, I think the best plan of action would be to park over there at the convention center and catch the train over to the link. And then you could just walk right there. That would be the best way to get there without having to be in traffic.
But anyways, but to say, is it going to be sustainable? So let's say YouTube plays for 18
Well, they said that it features 164,000 speakers, and the sound system is going to be delivered through all the floorboards as well.
Well, I understand that.
I just think that
the floors and the seats, just like the Love thing, but there's 164,000 doesn't account for 18,600 seats. There's obviously other speakers involved, right?
That's what I'm saying. There's got to be other speakers that are hidden everywhere.
Right. So
yes.
Yeah, my understanding is this is a multi-use venue. It's not going to just be used for concerts. They're going to be, and it's going to be the most immersive building in the world that's ever been built until they build a second one, which they're building in London, I hear. So, but my understanding is this, having worked with U2, they're not going to do anything unless it's right. If they don't have the sound right, I would say that they are not going to be playing. And because they've already gotten involved in this and they're committed, I would assume that building is going to have state-of-the-art sound by the time U2 gets, even if they have to put in new fly points and bring in another system. It really doesn't matter. I haven't seen the inside of the building, but I will be seeing it when I get back to Las Vegas. That's one of I will be getting inside there. But I hear that they have, like as Tina said, 184,000 speakers or maybe more. That's a lot of people talking at the same time. 184. Yeah. No, speakers. I mean, the kind of things that you listen to music from, not actually public speakers. But that would be a lot, just like us, but the reality is
it's only going to feature 304 parking spaces there. And that's what I say, like, people actually really just should park at the convention center and catch the train over, because it's much easier for you.
Well, and that's to finish the story is, so okay, let's say you sell it out. U2 sells it out for 18 months at 18,600 seats a night
with only 304 parking spaces.
With only 304 parking spaces.
That's a lot of carpooling going on. That's a lot of carpooling.
And then U2 leaves and the next person comes in. Okay. Well, is it sustainable? Even with you two in the building, is it going to be sustainable for what it's costing to build that place? The cost overruns is already gone over. What did it? There was some article that came out a couple of weeks ago. It's already like $1.5 billion over budget, and they're not done yet. And like you just said, Jan, let's say U2 walks in and goes, "Hey, the sound's not right in here." Now they got to put another sound system in here. How are they going to do that?
It's good to have that kind of money. That's all I could say. And
time.
Oh, and you know what? I just read that they're actually going to make a stop for the Las Vegas monorail between the Sphere and Venetian, so people can park somewhere else and catch it down.
You see, that would be a brilliant idea, and I'm surprised that they thought of it.
Me
because
too.
It's a brilliant idea.
That was my thought.
But Josh, this could be your place to come see Taylor Swift. I know you were going to. I know you want to go to the parking lot in Illinois to see her, but So what's it like getting a ticket for Taylor Swift?
Right now, if you want floor seats like everybody wants, they're going between $3,500 and $5,500. Everything else is anywhere from like the nosebleeds way on top are going for like $250 down to up to anywhere from $250 to $3,000, depending on where you want to go.
Yeah, the nosebleed in LA is $1,200.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
And that's not including parking, all that, your parking and everything down there, because you're gonna have to pay for parking too. So I mean,
$75 beers.
Yep. Well, they're selling White Claws because all the women that go there like their White Claw apparently. So every concert she's had White Claw at.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So every concert that she's had, they have beer, but they have like hard seltzers like White Claw or Truly's there.
Oh, hard seltzer. Yes. Yeah. I mean, could you believe the prices? I mean, prices are getting crazy. And Tina, I don't know if you know this, but they just showed, what movie did they show? I think they just showed a movie at Allegiant Stadium for the season ticket holders. Did you hear about that? I guess not. She's silent, so she probably didn't hear about it. But I heard that they had rented out Allegiant Stadium to show a movie, and I think I know what it was. It was Top Gun. And they let people, lounge on the lawn actually it's the field, and they were watching the movie. And a friend of mine said he'd gotten in for free. And so he picked up, he bought 3 beers and a Coke. And he said it cost him something like $65.
Yeah. Remember when I took you to the Raiders game, Jan? And you were like, you want a slice of pizza? And I was like, no, it's probably like $12. And the guy in front of us turned around, he said, no, it's 15 or something for a slice.
That's crazy. I mean, here where I am right now, for $15, you can get about, 10 pizzas, of course they're Thai pizza. So what can I say?
Anyway, I mean, really good. And that's really good pizza, Thai pizza.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, speaking of legends, of U2 and of course, Taylor Swift, we just lost Tina Turner this afternoon. 83 years old. I heard she had some health, serious health issues. I guess it wasn't like instantaneous death. It was, she'd been going through this. Didn't she have a liver replaced? I think.
I don't know. The article I saw this afternoon was that she died Tuesday, which would have been yesterday, in Switzerland.
In Switzerland, yes.
Yeah, 83 years old.
Kidneys.
It was her kidneys.
Yeah.
Yeah, 83 years old. She lived a very, fulfilling life. I mean, she brought a lot of entertainment to the world. Great songs, great singer, great performance. It was, what's love got to do with it? How many times have I said that?
I just have a real quick question just to go back to the Sphere for David. David, have you seen the Spherical Studios in Burbank? The mini Sphere that they built out there?
No,
that
I heard
do
about
all
it.
the production for the Las Vegas Sphere?
Right, I heard about it. I heard that
It's like 100 feet tall or something.
it's got the immersive sound in the studio, but I don't know anything else about other than what I read.
Okay, I was just wondering. Okay.
Yeah. Well, a lot's going on in Las Vegas. I'm going to turn to Tina now for the next story, which has to do with a baseball team coming to Las Vegas. What do you know about it, Tina? Aha, she doesn't know anything. No, she does. I know she's there somewhere. She's muted. That's what it is. All right, here we go.
I said they reached an agreement to bring the athletics to the Las Vegas this morning.
Yeah,
According to,
basically what it's going to
Lombardo.
be now, what they're going to do now is they're going to actually bring it up as far as the legislation, because I believe they have to pass it. The governor, the Oakland A's, and the legislature are going to be voting on it right now. So I have a feeling we're going to have a baseball team. So now we're going to have a baseball team. We've got a women's basketball team.
The
We're going to have a
Aces were
soccer
the
team.
WNBA champs last year, and
Yep.
working on it again for back-to-backs. And then also, don't forget, Vegas Golden Knights are up 3-0 versus Dallas. They're one step closer to going to the second trip to the Stanley Cup Finals.
And where
Wow,
would-
that's
now,
pretty
where are they gonna
amazing.
where would they put the baseball team in Dallas, in Vegas? Do they have to build a new
They're
stadium for that?
tearing down the Tropicana
Tropicana. Yeah.
Hotel
Oh, they are.
on the corner there of Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard. It's on the southeast side.
Yep.
Right across the street from Excalibur.
Put the baseball diamond there then.
Yeah. Counter corner from MGM, right across the street.
Is it going to be an enclosed stadium, or are they going to have it open?
Wow, that's a good question. We will see.
It's going to have a retractable roof.
Okay.
Well, it should, because it's so hot during the summer here. But I mean, I guess it's different in Summerlin, where the minor team plays. It doesn't get as hot as it does right on the strip. So
Well, it's you know, when there's no
when you're in the
quibbling
sun, huh?
between 110 degrees and 118 degrees. That's still mighty hot to say the least. You know, like, holy shit, is it hot? You know, that's the kind of heat we're talking about, you know. But, you know, people who live in the desert know about it. I mean, Fred, you know about what it's like to be hot, you know, have the weather outside hot.
It's pretty warm right now.
Yeah. And by the way, I heard that they just made a deal between Arizona and Nevada and California with the water, where they're going to be able to maintain some water rights. And they're basically working on a way how to diminish the fact of the drought.
Mm-hmm.
What does that say, Fred?
96.
It's 96 degrees outside right now. That's on
96.
top of my house. That's my weather
Right.
station
And it's
outside.
May, so imagine August and July.
Wait till June 21st. It'll go up 10 degrees on the first day of summer.
Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. It's just so hot. I hope it doesn't get that hot in Las Vegas. But what is the temperature in Las Vegas, Tina?
I think like 90, 92 where I'm at.
See, Fred, we're no slouch where it comes to hot weather in Las Vegas.
My
Oh, no,
car,
you guys are right on par. I know exactly where you are.
I just drove in and my car said 98 degrees.
Oh, down south there. It probably is hot there because the weather is different in like that midsection of Las Vegas where I'm in North Las Vegas. So, and for me, it's 92.
Yeah, that's what did I know I'm just looking at it right here. Okay, I told you about the athletics. Okay, but there is something about Arizona and I can't seem to find it in my notes, but maybe we'll come back to it. Ken Porter just walked into the room, ladies and gentlemen, and someone had a question for Ken Porter. Who was it that had a question for Ken Porter?
Was it Wayne?
Oh, it could have been. I just was wondering if Ken.
Well, we're welcome to Wayne's Corner. We're here in Wayne's Corner right now.
I thought this is
So-
Wayne's World.
No, Wayne's World
Well,
is something else. We have to be very careful of copyright infringement here. But
the
Wayne's
Monopoly.
Corner,
I won the Monopoly this morning, $3.
all right.
How about Wayne's Hemisphere?
I don't know.
Yes. Welcome to Australia and the walkabout.
Speaking of copyright infringement and whatever, did anybody hear about the Taco Tuesday being won by Taco Bell? So people
Yes.
no bars and restaurants can no longer have Taco Tuesday on their restaurants, on their marquees, anything. It's
Yeah.
all copyrighted.
They had to regain back their.
No, wasn't that an Australian company that first did it? And back in the 80s, and then they no longer really selling much. They just own the name. And then I guess Taco Bell tried to get it so that anybody can use it. I didn't know Taco Bell was going to own it. I thought it
No,
was.
they've been trying to get it back, I guess, for years. They went to court and they won.
Okay, I didn't quite hear it that way, so I'm curious.
What about Cinco de Mayo? Is there a problem with that too?
Not yet. Michael Jackson's gone. He
Well,
can't buy
then
it.
may the fourth be with you. That's all I could say. That's it. For those people. But anyway, speaking of Taco Bell, did you hear about Starbucks? Starbucks is changing its ice cubes, and how does a company changing the shape of its ice cubes make the news? But it made the news. Customers who order cold beverages will now sip on nugget ice in their drinks, which is now smaller than the chain's original shape of the ice cubes. Has anybody seen them smaller ice cubes yet?
What is their reasoning?
It's Starbucks. They could do it, it's crazy how they get people to spend $4.50 for a cup of coffee. It blows my mind, I mean, here it's crazy.
The smaller ice cubes
So they're gonna-
make the drink cold faster because
Yeah,
there's more surface
area.
Yep.
The
So
pellet
anyway,
ice.
Wayne, back to your question to Ken Porter. Go ahead.
Ken, I was just wondering if you supplied any production to the King's concert the other day.
King's concert, that's like you mean Elvis played the other day?
No, the one in England.
Oh, I didn't. I don't even know who did. I thought Britt Rowe did, but I'm not sure who did.
And I did do some picture searching and found that the VTXs were ground stacked and the top delays were L-acoustics, but I think the main ones were L-acoustics, but I couldn't see. I just went Googling away and looking at every picture, and you just couldn't find all the pictures. But I did find it.
Hadn't paid any attention to it. Although we're 2 weeks out from Infocom. How many of you are going to that?
Yeah, let's talk about Infocom, okay?
That L-Acoustic
Right
going to show
along,
their
Jan, subject
L2
matter.
system in the theater there.
Say that again, Ken, because you were blocked out.
L-Acoustics is going to show their L2 system in the theater at the convention center. So they'll have that one to go here.
Now, are you going to be going to Infocom?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about what Infocom is for those people who don't know. What is Infocom?
It is a trade show that is sponsored by a contracting, audio video lighting contracting association that helps get contracting. There is classes about how to do contracting, how to do stuff, how to get certifications and everything on different products. And then
Now, isn't that how Sheldon Adelson made his money? Didn't he own it originally and sold it, Dave?
I don't know that one.
I think David Dansky might know the answer to this.
You're muted, David. You're muted, David.
He owned the computer show.
That was Infocom. I believe it was that.
No, not at all. It was something or other.
Comdex.
Comdex, that's what it was. He owned Comdex.
Oh, that's what it was.
And he sold it to the Japanese for billions. And then it died like 2 years later.
Yeah. Anyway, so Infocom is in Orlando this year, and I've had quite a few people ask me if I was going to Infocom, and I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm really torn between going and not going. And I guess those are my only two choices, going or not going. There's no third choice involved. So I was going to put it up to the panel. What do you think?
Well, you're not an integrator, are you? You're a
No,
seller.
but it's more
You're
than
a seller
integration.
integrator.
A lot of,
It is-
a lot of
it
sound
is more
companies,
than integration.
there hasn't been a good trade show in over a year. And there's a lot of sound companies, a lot of production companies showing up at this.
Yeah, from my understanding, this is going to the largest attendance of the AV industry in 10 years. This is so many people are talking about going to this show. I've heard from all my manufacturers that they all want to meet me. And now Ken Porter's going to be there, so that's a reason. And one of my other vendors, Meyer Sound, has invited me as well. They're introducing something as well. They're going to have a booth there, I believe. And Harman is definitely going to have a huge presence. Martin Lighting is going to have a presence there, and they've invited me. So I'm really debating whether or not I want to go to Orlando for a couple of days before I go back to Las Vegas.
Well, you know that Yamaha is going to premiere a new console at the show. And you will see the Digico Q8 at the show. So there could be a lot of stuff to go see.
Well, that's some good news, but the most so far the highlight of what you've said, what I would want to see if I went to the show would be Ken Porter. That would be the highlight.
Same here.
You know, I mean, I could always read about the rest. The problem is with you is that there's hardly anything to read about you, and I think that's a good thing. And I would love to see you.
There's a few stories on Ken on the Google.
Well, the interesting thing is there's going to be some interesting parties as well. And when you get a guy like Ken Porter, how many dinner invitations do you have at this moment in time?
4.
Yeah, only 4. See, so you could eat 2 meals a night if you could time it right. That's it. But manufacturers really, if you've never been to a convention and a manufacturer wants to wine and dine you, they really pull out all the stops on this, and they rent restaurants and all you can drink, all you could eat, and it's usually not the cheap McDonald's. It's usually the 5-star restaurants that they do this is. I remember one meal in particular where they took us all out for full lobster dinners, that was a Digico meal. So that was great for those people that eat lobster.
And that was in Las Vegas?
That was in Las Vegas. That's correct. It was in Las Vegas.
So did your Torah say that was okay to eat that?
Well, basically, in the old day, when they wrote the Torah and they wrote the Bible and they wrote all of these religious books that we live by today, they did not have refrigeration. Today, they've got something called refrigeration. And because they have a freezer, not only refrigeration, but they can freeze stuff, there is no rules whatsoever why you can't eat anything that you don't want to eat. Now, personally, I don't eat hoofs any longer. Hoofed, F-O-O-Fs, I won't eat any hoofs. Even though there are some dishes like in Brazil, like feijoada, which I recommend highly against it if they have hooves in it. So don't eat the feijoada with hooves. All right, just so you know.
Aren't you the person that got sick from eating shrimp in the desert in Las Vegas?
Absolutely. It was a shrimp salad. And it was a horrible experience. And I found out something, that the military and the CIA actually use, even the Russians do this, they use a poison that is a derivative of bad seafood. And it's the most effective poison there is against your enemies. And so, yeah, it's a serious, getting seafood poisoning is a serious, condition. It was horrible.
Food poisoning is bad, but seafood is supposedly particularly bad.
I can vouch for it. I can vouch for it. Going back to what's, really bad. By the way, Fred, we were talking this, and I just found this story a little bit. But if they're expecting huge heat waves this year, huge El Nino is back in the picture. That little boy is coming, and he's going to bring a lot of heat with him. And they say that a heat wave or blackout of Phoenix, which is possible this year, that nearly 800,000 residents would need emergency medical care for heat stroke and other illnesses if there was an extended power failure. I'm sure Las Vegas would be the same. Do you have any condition or any precaution if that happens? Or are you going to be one of those 800,000?
I have a solar system.
Very good.
I'm
And
okay.
that causes a lot of cool air, right? The heat.
Yeah, but solar system as in like in Monty Python, when you took the solar day, you got 50 million there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I missed the solar system song.
Yep. So, and also, like right now in Mexico, are you following this news right now that there's this volcano that is bubbling up right now? It's delayed flights in and out of Mexico City. They've closed down schools, and basically they're saying that this volcano could affect 25 million people living around Mexico City, because it's only 45 miles south of Mexico City. Has anybody heard about that? Anybody affected by that?
No, I know about that mountain, that Popocatépetl it's called.
That's right.
And when the Aztecs built the city there, they knew that mountain was alive. So that's why they prayed to it. And it is what it is. They built Mexico City around it. And one day, just like Mammoth Mountain could blow up, it could blow up. It's the earth.
Now, why would Mammoth Mountain blow up? What is that? What's the story of Mammoth Mountain?
That's the largest volcanic, whatever that's called, on the world. It's like a third of the state of California. It's huge. And it's rumbling all the time now.
Yeah,
I
what
had
was the
no
one-
idea that Mammoth Mountain was a volcano.
Yeah, what was the big one that let go in the 70s or something?
Mount St. Helens.
St. Helens, yeah. Oof.
That was
in
up by
Washington.
where Kurt. That's up by where Kurt is, right in Washington, right?
Yeah, on the border between Washington and Oregon.
Yeah, but Kurt can't be here today because he's working a gig. He's working a gig in Bend, Oregon, I believe. So, congratulations to Kurt. So anybody being affected by Netflix yet with the password sharing?
It's going to affect us for sure.
I don't know what's going on. I signed out of all of my accounts yesterday. I was going to do a refresh, and now I can't get back in on anything. All of my Apple TV boxes are offline.
Wow. What do you think that is?
I don't know. All I did was went in and just said, I looked at the list of stuff that was on there, and I went, there was one computer on there that I didn't recognize. So I just said, I'll just deactivate them all. I know I just changed the password. I'll just go back in and put the password back in, no problem. I have 5 Apple TV boxes, none of them will log on.
Wow. Well, you'll figure it out. One thing that I use a company called Surfshark as a VPN, and they just introduced a dedicated IP address so that, historically speaking, you use a VPN, you're sharing it with everybody on their network. But now they're offering dedicated VPNs, and now I have my own VPN through them, and it's amazing. So if you guys use VPN, you might want to think of using a dedicated VPN with your own IP address. First of all, it's super fast. I can't believe how fast it is. And second of all, it fools all of the vendors or all of the websites you go to, because you're the only one using that VPN. So it believes it's a true VPN. It doesn't believe that it is a commercial VPN. It believes that that's really where you are. And that is phenomenal. So if you guys do any traveling, you might want to think about it. And by the way, I have a link, believe it or not, that they gave me, that if you use it, we both get something. I think we both get a free month. So it's very cool. But the network password sharing, the reason I bring up the VPN is because I read an article in Lifehacker, and not that I'm promoting this article, but if you Google Lifehacker Netflix sharing, I believe they have a story there that shows how you could use a VPN to fool Netflix, So I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying it's there. And that was my opinion. Just remember, everything you hear today is an opinion. If you have any comments about that, put it in the comment section. And by the way, click the like button right now, seeing you're already at your computer, and share the links with people so that they know we're doing this. So that's great on any of the social media where you're watching this. All right,
So Tina, how do you feel about the hockey game last night where the Dallas guy got ejected for choking? Tried to kill one of your players.
Yeah.
It's hockey. What's wrong with that?
The hockey guys, they fight more than any other sport I've seen. So they've had interactions prior to last night's game. I guess it was just all building up.
So if you
Frustration.
start watching Oakland and see how bad that team is this year, and you're going to get them next year.
Well, their minor league team out here is much better.
And by the way, Oakland is saving themselves up for when they become a Las Vegas team. And by the way, history has shown that every team that moves to Las Vegas or gets created in Las Vegas does quite well in their first.
It'll be interesting to see if they're still be doing their spring training here in Arizona. They took over the old Cubby Park over in Mesa at Hoboken. That's where the Athletics play now.
Well,
The Golden Knights basically had a prime opportunity because they could pick players off of any team in the league and build their team out of players that weren't that they wanted out of any other team. So you lost a lot of players that came there. They were great the first year because they had players that couldn't be protected.
Yeah. Well, didn't they used to do all the spring training down in Florida?
They still do. It's kind of split between Arizona and Florida.
Between two.
A couple places.
Yeah. And they got to be careful right now because now it's hurricane season. So, I guess Arizona doesn't have many hurricanes, do they?
No, and you're going to have Infocom during hurricane? Woo-hoo!
Spring training is over.
You guys get monsoons instead.
Yeah, I guess Orlando would be in the hurricane belt. Come to think of it,
We get boobs.
Yeah. And by the way, their governor just made an announcement today that he was going to run for president. And he did it on Twitter, which I thought was the strangest thing for someone to run for major office and do an announcement to such a limited audience on Twitter. And Twitter, I don't even know what Twitter Spaces is. And I am, I'm pretty much knowledgeable about social media. And then it turns out that I read that they had technical issues. So it didn't happen the way they planned on it. But I don't know much more about it.
Elon Musk, put $40 billion into this thing. He wants to try and make the platform worthy of note. This is a big deal for his platform. Forget whether he himself actually is behind anybody. He says he's not. Obviously, he's behind the Republicans, but he says he's not backing anybody yet. But this was a Twitter thing for him. This was, a businessman trying to get his platform out there.
Yeah, but didn't Elon just give Twitter to somebody else Elon's focusing more back on Tesla now.
Yeah, he still owns it. He's just not
he
the
owns it,
CEO
but
anymore.
he's not running it. He's not doing
Well,
the
actually, the person who's running it now specializes in advertisement, and the idea is he wanted to sell more ads. So they got somebody. I forgot what company she came from. I think she came from NBC, and she specializes in selling ads. That's her functionality, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to build up the money. But right now, according to everything that I've read, he paid 40 billion, and now it's worth 20 billion, and people are moving from it in droves, because basically now he's taken off the blue check marks of the legitimate people who own it, and now anybody could buy a check mark for $8 a month, and a lot of people are scamming people by buying, like, let's just say it would be CNN would have a check mark. Now somebody bought the name CNN TV and has a check mark, and people think it's the real CNN, but in reality it's not. And it's many companies that's happened to. So it's a challenge.
A perfect example of that is that picture of the Pentagon blowing up yesterday
yeah.
or the day before. That had a check mark on it, and that's one of the reasons the stock market fell, because they believed it. So he's really screwed up by making those check marks arbitrary.
I think he's done a lot of things wrong, but right now there's very little alternative other than Facebook. And, Facebook, my God, they just got fined by the Euro nation something like $1 billion, and they're laughing. They're saying $1 billion, that's nothing, and all they're doing is stealing your information. That's it. They're stealing your information, and that's why they got fined. And nobody gives it.
They got fined because they took the European information and gave it to the North American databases, and they're not supposed to do that. That's what the fine was for.
Yeah, but still, they're stealing information. They're stealing your information. Now, when I say your information, you might think that I'm only talking about the people from the Euro nations, but they're stealing it. I mean, look, if you're not paying for something, then you're the product. That's all there is to it, and we are the product of Facebook. And right now it's really a challenge, because so many people that are not of our worldly status that live on Facebook and depend on Facebook to communicate with their friends and family. And I just read an article or something about how social media is putting our children, I don't have any children, but our children as a colloquial whole, that they're putting it in Great Depression. These people are depressed and committing suicide in record numbers. And it's because of peer pressure on these social media groups.
Yeah, I bet you everybody right now is thinking about their first friend Tom on MySpace, wishing they never left him.
Yeah. And doesn't that guy Austin Kutcher now own? Is that his name, Austin Kutcher?
Aston.
Aston Kutcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns it now, and I guess if you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have thought of it. It's not my first go-to place, but I know that Bo. She lives, the first thing she does when she wakes up in the morning is she checks her Facebook page to see what her friends are doing. And I see it firsthand how she's affected when she gets a negative comment, or she sees one of her other friends post something that she doesn't like, or like one of our friends is now in Europe and she makes comments about it, and it definitely affects her. And it's really a serious matter about what's going on in social media.
Doesn't she kiss you first thing in the morning and wake you up and say, "Good morning, Dan"?
We can't talk about what she really does first thing in the morning here, because it's a family show. Let's talk it like that, But believe me, she's a wonderful woman, and I am extremely happy.
Coming back to the industry question, you had said earlier that Meyer was showing a new box. So they've got the Leo Lion Leopard, and now they started into Panther. What would they call the next box?
I have no idea. It's strange because they went from calling stuff by their family names, you know, like the Milo, the Mina, you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't know what they're showing. And I mean, their new stuff could be the you know, part of the Panther series. Yeah, I don't know. I really have no clue on all of what they're showing. I haven't been spending that much time figuring it all out.
Well,
I'm gonna go with Cougar.
but it's not started with a P. Well,
Why would it have to be a P?
because Panther's a P, Leo Lion Leopard was L. This is the
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it could be Cougar, but the P is silent. You know, I mean, you know, you can't tell them how to spell it. You know.
Yep. We passed on the NHL draft thing in Nashville later in June because they expected they want all Panther boxes flown in a truss grid, one box above every table for all the 32 teams.
That's a lot of work.
It's why
That's a lot of rigging points. That's a ton of rig. Is there a building that has that many rigging points?
Well, they're doing it in the arena floor in Nashville.
Well, how would they do that?
Well, they'll hang aluminum grid with that, and then hang every box on the grid with lighting and everything else.
Wow, that's an ambitious project.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the production manager for that show.
I'm glad I didn't bid it and do it.
Yeah, you know. Anyway, it's a crazy world. By the way, did you hear? I know this has nothing to do with anything, but the Eagles Hotel California tour it's grossed over $250 million just in North America.
Oh wow. Do people still think that the Hotel California is a real hotel?
If it's not, it should be. You know,
Because we all know it's not.
Isn't the Hotel Figueroa the Hotel California?
No, Hotel California is a rehab facility.
Well,
you know, I mean, it would be very.
In Pasadena.
If you think about it, Hotel California would be very profitable for whoever anybody own it, because you can check out, but you could never leave. You know, so they still get you with ancillary rights, and you're buying a lot of expensive dinners and drinks.
It's like a mental institution.
Yeah,
that's why you can't check out.
Well,
it's
the
not
picture
a real
on the
hotel.
album looks really
not a
lot
hotel.
like Figueroa Hotel down on Figueroa Street.
No, it's
Hotel Figueroa.
It's
talking about a mental institution.
hotel.
Did you hear the story right now that's breaking right now? That I mean, this is a staggering story to me. That more than 450 adult Catholic clergymen abused over 2,000 children in the state of Illinois over a period of almost 90 years that just came out. That's an average of 4.4 children per clergyman. That's crazy. That's nuts. That's beyond belief.
Well, how many decades, you know, are people alive?
Well, 90 years would be what? 8 decades? I mean, that's crazy.
So one every 20 years?
Well,
One every 15 years?
4.4 per person, you know, that's it. You do the math. You know, I mean, that's all I could say is that, you know, I mean, the worst part about me is I got hit with a ruler. That was it. You know, I guess I wasn't that desirable. Bummer. All right. Well, anyway,
Wait a minute,
moving on.
A good Jewish boy going to a Catholic school? Is that what you said?
Yeah, that was where they had better crackers. You know, I liked it there. You know, it said the wafers were very tasty. You know, and they let you drink wine, whereas you know, where I went, not so much. You know, plus you could eat seafood. You know, that's what I like about it. You know, Italian food was my favorite. You know, Chinese food every Sunday. There you go. That was what it was like growing up in New York.
Fish every Friday.
No, we had chicken every Friday night. It was chicken soup. Dave, what about you? You're from New York.
Sunday, Chinese food on Sunday, of course. That's
Chinese food on Sunday, chicken soup on Friday.
Well, I don't remember the chicken soup part. I definitely know about the Chinese food on Sunday, though.
What about the weekends? Did you have what do they call it? You know, lox and bagels. What do they call that? They have a name starts with an A.
I don't know, but
I'll think about it. Maybe next week I'll mention it.
My family wasn't that religious, even though when we did go, we went to Orthodox. But we celebrated the major holidays, and that was it. Nothing else.
No, there was it wasn't appetizers, but it consisted of, lox, which is smoked salmon, bagels, cream cheese, whitefish.
That was breakfast.
Capers.
Yeah,
So,
capers.
Onions.
So were you a CEO? Christmas and Easter only?
No, I believe in every gift-giving holiday. What are you talking about? You name a gift-giving holiday, I'm there. Whatever it is, Festivus.
I saw a sign on a church sign. I saw a saying on a church sign the other day that said, "A man walked into a bar and it hurt."
Ouch.
Yeah. I saw a sign the other day, screaming, "Oh my God," in bed, is not the same as going to church. That's it. That's what I heard, Might be a religious experience, but not one that the church condones.
I thought the Catholic Church condoned that.
Yeah. Anyway, have you been getting any spam calls lately?
No.
They just announced that 48 state attorney generals are suing this company called Avid Telecom. It just happened yesterday. And the company, listen to this, the company's responsible for billions of illegal spam calls, billions with a B, including calls to phone numbers on the Do Not Disturb registry. I think that Do Not Disturb registry is a bunch of crap. I mean, nobody pays attention to that. Do you guys have your numbers registered on the Do Not Disturb registry?
Sure.
No.
I've had it for 50 years and it doesn't make a bit of difference.
It makes no
I never
difference
bothered. I
whatsoever.
feel like they stole the list and just call everybody anyway. Oh, we have everybody on the list now. Let's hack it.
Yeah. I'm telling you, you have a property for sale these days. You got a property registered with the state. I don't know how they get those phone numbers, but man, I get at least 3 phone calls or 2 different texts every day about, today I got one. The guy says, "Hey, your property is in foreclosure. We can help." And I said, "What the hell?"
You should see all the mail you get from realtors that I'm constantly.
Well, thank
throwing
God,
away.
Tina, you screened that out for me. I love it. I love that you screened that out.
Oh my gosh, you get so many cards and business cards and flyers regarding, and everybody's trying to brag how they can sell your house.
Yeah, and
It's
the interesting
ridiculous.
thing is everybody knows somebody that sells real estate. So why would somebody out of the clear blue sky think that you're going to take their call and have enough faith in them to think that they're going to be your realtor? I think about that one line from Seinfeld where George is laying on the floor and Kramer just answered the phone and he was supposed to be Vandelay Industry, and Jerry Seinfeld walks in, sees Kramer sees George lying on the floor and says, "And you want to be my latex salesman?" That's how I feel about those real estate agents. "And you want to be my real estate agent? What are you, joking?" I mean, everybody knows somebody.
Yeah, and it's such a waste of money. That's all I see when I see them. Just wasted money every week of constant paper and stamps for nothing.
I get calls and emails and all the stuff, even letters from people that offer crazy money because they're trying to park money outside of the stock market into real estate. And it's become a mess trying to get that done.
And don't
Has
ever-
anybody heard anything about the debt ceiling? I haven't heard about anything today. I've been incommunicado, but have they passed anything yet?
Not that I've heard.
I haven't, nothing I've heard. They're stalemate right now, or stalemate.
Yeah, they said it as of 2 hours ago, the debt ceiling negotiations continue as default deadline looms.
Well, everybody knows what it means, and but you got some crazy. I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to call these people crazy, although it is my opinion. I mean, Taylor Green. I I mean, I don't get her. I don't get this guy, Matt Gates. I just don't understand them. I don't under. It's beyond me. I mean, I would think that if I was in any kind of investigative position, I would investigate these guys to make sure they're not getting money from our enemies like China or Russia. It just seems like that's where those are the people that must be supporting these people. I can't imagine their constituents, believe in half this nonsense that QAnon has poured into them. What do you think? Do you think that people really believe what they're saying? Wayne, you're from Australia.
No, I don't know. Do you think that, I have a question, but do you think that China is actually an enemy? Do you think the majority of the people there are just friendly?
Well, I think right now that China is basically dependent on the United States, and the United States is dependent on China. There's no doubt about it. Financially, we are dependent on each other. No, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We're very dependent on China, and China is very dependent on us. And China has befriended Russia. But did you hear what happened today? That now they're talking, I guess there was a big fire at the Russian Defense Bureau. Did you guys hear about this?
New one to me.
Yeah.
Anti-German, Russian dissidents like going up against stuff, and there's been like killing, a lot of stuff going on in Russia.
Yeah, and they're saying now, I just heard this guy who is a Russian, who's involved in the Russian military. I think he's with the Wagner Group, and he's basically saying now that because the Ukrainians have built up such a military presence, that it's possible now that there could be a revolution inside Russia to change the whole Russian way of thinking. And they would be, they would move more towards the West, because the people that want Russia to move to the West now might have an opportunity to come in and take over control and power of the country. That would be a great thing that can happen. I mean, you got to think that Putin really misjudged what happened. And we're all watching what's happening.
I think Putin overplayed his card. I have a friend of mine who has a relative that's living in Ukraine, and said that Ukraine was actually preparing way in advance before Russia even was Vietnam, because they knew it was just a matter of time before Russia was going to invade. So they were building up their defense systems. They were building everything up. And I think Putin figured, I can just march in there without firing a shot, take it over, and they're not going to care. They're going to lay down. And I think he got his hands handed to him. And I know my cousin, he was in the military. He was over in seas. I can't really say a whole lot, but he said, yeah, there's even people inside Russia that are part of that said, yeah, they're sick of Putin because he's getting innocent lives killed for no reason, because it's a useless war. That's what they're saying over there.
Well, will you see that city of Bakhmut? I think that's how I might be pronouncing it wrong. It's staggering disaster. It's staggering devastation. And no matter how you cut it, they can't. Every apartment building seems to be destroyed. It couldn't all be a military operation. They've had to kill plenty of civilians. It's just crazy what's going on over there. I mean, I think this could be a turning point in the world.
Don't forget,
you can look at it.
When Trump was president, Putin felt he could do whatever he wanted to do, and the U.S. wouldn't raise a whisper. So everybody else, including the Ukraine, was saying, we better get our shit together, because this guy is going to allow Russia to do whatever he wants. And Putin got it in his head to do it, and he did it even when we lost Trump. So we lost Trump. We threw him out. But
well, it's interesting what's going on with that guy. He's like it's like he's like herpes. He keeps on giving. That's it. That's the way I would describe him. But moving on to another subject, a little bit more exciting. SpaceX just carried a former astronaut up to the space station. And it's a private mission. It's one of the first private missions. And so now, isn't SpaceX Elon Musk?
Yes.
Yeah, did you
Yeah,
watch?
so
the
now they're
launch?
going back and forth. You know, he's got that reusable rocket, and they're going back and forth to the space station now. They're shuttling people back and forth from the space station.
On a side note, didn't Virgin Atlantic file for bankruptcy?
I
believe-
didn't hear that.
I thought they did.
I didn't hear that. It's very possible that I don't think that did the airline file for bankruptcy or another division.
No, the space.
The space.
Oh yes. Yeah. The Virgin
Blue-
Atlantic
Blue
is out of
Origin?
the space business.
Virgin.
Blue Origin, that's right.
No, Blue
Origin?
Origin is Jeff Bezos, and they just got the contract for the moon lander.
It's
Oh, okay.
Virgin Orbit. Virgin Orbit.
Yeah, but Blue Origin is Jeff Bezos, and like I said, NASA just picked them to do the moon lander, so which is really cool. You know, it's if you want to go to space, now is the time to buy your ticket. You know, that's it. I don't think I'm ever going to get up there, but it would be really
Who were
cool.
the private citizens that we?
I don't know. I mean, they didn't call me personally and ask for my permission, so I don't know who they are. But I'm sure
I
there's-
just heard on our local news station a couple of days ago that there was just a spaceship that went up to, I want to say the spaceship or space station. I think it was from Russia or overseas somewhere, and it was like 2 astronauts and then a civilian that paid somewhere like $5 million or $500,000. It was a huge amount to go up to the space station to see it.
Wasn't
it was
it
actual
Saudi
civilian.
Arabia or something like that? It was somewhere in the Middle East.
Yeah, it was some. Yeah, it wasn't in the U.S., but it was somewhere overseas. I don't know if it was Russia or Saudi Arabia or whatever. But it was like 2 actual astronauts, and then a civilian who, obviously had to go through the training and all the protocols. But he paid a big number to take a ride up there to go see the space station and be in outer space.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What can I say about that? Nothing. All right, we're moving on. All right. What was I going to say? So, boy, all of a sudden I just got mental block. Unusual for me, but all right, what the hell? It's kind of interesting, the space, the way space is going. And meanwhile, France just banned domestic flights that are served by the high-speed rail train system that's more than 2.5 hours. So if it's under 2.5 hours, there's not going to be any more flights. You're going to have to take high-speed rail. And, America doesn't have anything to worry about with that because we don't have any high-speed rail.
Not yet.
I thought Musk was building one. Wasn't there a high-speed rail going from LA to Vegas?
I think it's from
Yes.
Valencia, California to somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I
it's
think
going.
that-
It's going from Vegas, and then it's stopping in Victorville, and then it's going to I think Riverside, and then you have to transfer to the trains there to go to downtown Los Angeles.
Really stupid.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all
real
I can
stupid.
say.
That's how it's going to be.
They're supposedly building one in Texas from Dallas to Houston. But
We're so far behind the curve right now in regarding that. But maybe now with all this money of Build Back America, that they've just passed in Congress, that we'll be able to get some high-speed rail. Because, the high-speed rail is really cool. If you've never ridden on a high-speed railroad, it is really, really amazing. It's very, very amazing.
Speaking of railroad, it's kind of on the subject, but did you hear about, I think it was Union Pacific? They said they lost like some 60,000 pounds of, I think, nitrate ammonia between, I think it was out in California somewhere. It was like going from one station to another, and somewhere between they lost 60,000 pounds of it or whatever, or 60,000 gallons of nitrate ammonia that could be used to build a bomb or fertilizer. But they don't think it was actually stolen. They think it was just a leak in the car.
Well,
heard
there you
about that
go.
on the news the other day.
You got to call Warren Buffett. He'll have the answer for that because I think he owns all the railroads in the United States.
Jan, sitting in a train doing 300 kilometers an hour or whatever that is in 200 miles an hour or whatever it is, I struggle with that. Like, I just think like planes are good because they're up in the air, but those trains that are traveling at that speed, I always keep thinking when it goes wrong, it's going to go wrong. I mean, it's just so fast.
You know, it's like the airlines. You know, you hear of a crash and you go, "Oh my God, flying's not safe," and then you realize there's 100,000 flights a day.
Hey,
And it's the same thing with these trains. When was the last time you heard a high-speed train? I'm not talking about freight, but a high-speed train having an accident. You just don't hear it.
Yep.
no.
And the
And when-
reason why, Wayne, is because they're on magnetic rails, and and basically it's impossible for them to fall off the rail, you know. And because there's so few of them, the problem of running into another train or backing into another train is non-existent. So at this point in time, I would think that probably the safest travel that you could do would be on high-speed trains, but they're so limited.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
the second safest is they said the second safest travel is actually air travel. They said, yeah, you have plane crashes and everything, but they said there's still few and far between.
Yeah.
Like
The
you
US
said, you got 100,000 flights a day. Out of
And-
100,000 flights, one plane crashes.
And the US goes through sometimes 3 and 4 years without a single death on commercial aviation.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
certainly-
where you hear about those crashes is over. You don't hear much about U.S. because you're very seldom happen, but they're always overseas somewhere. And
Well,
you
all
know-
I recommend, if you don't want to get crashed, don't take Malaysian Air. That's all I could say.
exactly.
I agree.
Yeah, well,
That's it. Stay off of Malaysian Air. That's it.
I'm gonna
They
be
haven't
on
had a crash in the last couple of months, I believe. But that's good for their track record. Well, we're coming near the end of our time, so even though I have a couple of stories I want to talk about, we'll wait till next week to bring them up. One is about shoplifting, and the other one is about QR codes in restaurants. So before we say goodbye to everybody else, just remember, subscribe, come and join the panel. Just send us a DM from anywhere you're watching the show, and we'll send you a link on how to join us on the panel. Today's been a great day. Time went by very, very fast. We covered more stories than I can even imagine. And I want to thank everybody for being on the panel. Before we say goodbye to social media, is there anybody that wants to say anything to anybody out there on social media?
Hey, David, you should do a tour of Jan's house for everybody so everybody can see what Jan's house looks like in Vegas.
He just did. He just spun the camera around. You weren't paying attention. You're muted. You're muted.
I thought we were already off in my head. I screwed up. I was going to do it after we signed
Let
up.
me give you the address, and my address is on Holly Ridge Road. No, that's not where I live. But by the way, so I want you all to have a very, very happy and a safe week. And this is our 157th meeting. Today is May 24th, my cousin's birthday. So happy birthday, Barry.
Happy birthday, FJ.
Oh, FJ's birthday too?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Happy birthday, FJ.
Happy birthday.
And with that, we're going to say goodbye. We're going to stay in the room. Just remember, we come in early, we stay late, but you only get an hour. So that's all you're getting, social media. And we're out of here. Remember, you make it happen. Be safe, stay healthy, and we will see you again for the 158th version of our current event show. Oh, by the way, did you guys see the new logo? I love it. I love it. And if you look at the logo, you'll see all of the stories we covered. Artificial intelligence created the car with the coffee cup and everything else like that. So remember to click the like button, subscribe, and we will talk to you again next week. Bye now. And we are off the air.